We got plenty to talk about this week as current events ramp up, and we had our fun talking old memories with the top 100 with our friends at Outside Xbox. But this week we got a little Xbox Next action coming in here. This story popped off last night, right as we were kind of logging off for the night. AMD has maybe kind of spilled a few beans on the possibility of the new Xbox, the supposed hybrid Xbox console PC, coming next year. So this was from our friends at GamesBeat. Shout out to Dean Takahashi, who writes, advanced micro devices, that would be our friends AMD. AMD CEO Lisa Su made a rare comment about future sales for both Valve's Steam machines and Microsoft's next generation Xbox. In her prepared remarks, so this was not off the cuff, her prepared remarks for the analyst earnings call, which happened yesterday as we're recording, Su said, quote, from a product standpoint, Valve is on track to begin shipping its AMD-powered Steam machine early this year, and development of Microsoft's next-gen Xbox featuring an AMD semi-custom system on chip is progressing well to support a launch in 2027, end quote. So I'm not sure she was supposed to say that out loud, but it sounds like she was fully prepared to do so. Maybe Microsoft said, go for it. Let's start the hype train here a little bit. But yeah, because notice that she didn't say that the chip would be ready to go in 2027. She said they would be ready to support a launch in 2027. Miranda, what do you think? Are you marking your calendar for November of 27 right now?
Oops. Yeah. yeah, I am. I hope that means that when I think about it, I'm like, are we going to get another Halo project soon? Is it going to launch with Halo? Like, that'd be kind of sick. That's just me, like, getting away, like, far ahead of myself. But, yeah, sounds like that's what's happening. It's kind of on schedule, but it's it's definitely a big whoops moment there.
Michael, you're very much a tech expert. You're on our tech team. Talk to me about this. Do you think this was on purpose? Do you think what's the deal here?
I think it was on purpose. Yeah, it's a prepared statement, but I think the wording, we can argue about what the wording exactly means. Like being able to support a launch in 2027 is like, maybe to me that reads as like, if it happens, we'll be there.
Yeah,
but like, just know that we are like our end of the bargain is taken care of, because AMD doesn't have to produce the RAM, doesn't have to produce the storage. They produce the system on chip. So GPU, CPU side of things. And I'm sure that they'll be ready to support it in 2027. I'm sure that, I think maybe like years prior to this, the planning ahead, they have like agreed that, hey, our chip will be ready for 2027. Let us know what the deal is. But we'll be done with, we'll hold our end of the bargain. It's up to y'all if you want to use that though. So I imagine like that's not how these meetings go, trust me. But that's like the vibe that I get from it. So I guess that's to say like at the earliest would be 2027, which is like not rocket science. Like we've been new to this, but I think that there are so many other factors that go into a console launch, that go into a piece of hardware like a new Xbox, presumably. So I would say like I wouldn't be surprised if like, hey, this is going to be 2028 or pending somewhere down the future after 2027. But whatever AMD has prepared now, it's ready to go into systems if and when Microsoft is ready to start manufacturing these. But that's my perception.
Put your money down now. When do you think the next Xbox launches?
I would say fall 28. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling.
And Miranda, you're in the fall 27 camp?
Yes, though Michael did provide compelling support as to why
Sure.
This is just saying they're ready to start giving these units up for Xbox to do with what they will. But I think it would still be at 27.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with you, Miranda, because the key thing I'm pulling out of that is support a launch, which means not just that the chip is done and ready to go, but that they've made millions of them, that they have ramped up supply to support an actual like as many units as Microsoft can get onto shelves, which tells me that, they're, while it could be 2028, certainly if Microsoft is having AMD be ready to go, meaning have millions of chips ready to go, Microsoft's probably not going to sit on those for too long. They're going to want to get them into boxes and out the door. So, Michael, I'm sorry, it's 2-1. I'm afraid you've lost, sir.
Hey, listen, that's fine with me, man. Yeah.
I have to ask, are you guys at all excited? I think that's the reason I went immediately to like, oh, are we going to get a new Halo? Because I'm more curious about that than I am whatever Microsoft is coming up with as far as a device based on their previous statements. Like, I'm a little bit less, it's hard to say, right? We've talked about in circles about this over the past, guess last year, how Microsoft has kind of stepped away from Xbox as an exclusive brand, right? So it's like, okay, so you're making a machine potentially next year. What's the incentive, right? What's the incentive for me to just stay with that rather than just get a Steam machine and play everything on that and have that as my next Xbox, put my Xbox controllers to it? I think that's what I'm most curious about, is how that they would frame that to be exciting. But although this news is interesting, I think what's more interesting for me is like, what are they going to do to support that launch as far as games go?
Yeah. Go ahead, Michael, please.
So, and we've mentioned this before too. It's like supporting a launch for a console too isn't quite as exciting when you know that there's going to be so much cross-gen stuff. Like everything next year, if there is a new gen, it's going to be cross-gen. Like, I don't think the Series X is hurting for power. Like, that's not like I boot up my Series X and play games on it. Like, I'm never thinking like, damn, it's starting to show its age. I wish I had a more powerful console to play this at higher frame rate, better resolution. It's like, no, what's there is pretty damn good already. And again, we talked about diminishing returns when it comes to graphical fidelity and how games run and look. There's still there is room for improvement. Don't get me wrong. As also a PC gamer who's cranking everything to 4K high settings, I get it. But when it comes like an experience where I just like boot up a game, play it on a console, I'm like, damn, this looks pretty good. This already runs really well. So, and having everything cross-gen, I don't know if like a launch would even excite me. I mean, I would have to cover it, of course. Like, that's the exciting part. But if I was a consumer, like, I don't know if I would shell out the dough for something like that.
You're both right. Like, I'm not sure Sony or Microsoft can make a launch exciting with software anymore because of the cross-gen thing. Like, we know for a fact these companies, and we might not like it, but it's very understandable why they're going to support cross-gen for as long as they can. They're not going to leave tens of millions of users behind and say, well, no, you've got to buy the new box. Like, Nintendo will still do it, but even they're doing cross-gen stuff for a lot of, like, a pretty decent amount of this first year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at 6, 7, well, almost 8 months in on Switch 2, and there have been some exclusives, yes, but there's also been a lot of cross-gen stuff. So yeah, like to your point, Miranda, about Halo, like are we going to get a Halo with it? You reminded me that there have been 4 Xbox generations, and only the first one launched with a Halo game, which is weird to think about, right? Like, because we so associate, even to this day, Halo with Xbox. And it's like, oh, actually, no, the 360 didn't launch with a big Halo game. The Xbox One didn't launch with a big Halo game. And the Series X definitely didn't launch with a big Halo game. It was supposed to, and they missed it pretty badly. But yeah, it is kind of strange. And we're probably not going to get a big Halo game to launch with the next Xbox either, because you've got the Halo 1 campaign remake this fall, and like, I don't know, maybe a Halo 2 campaign remake, but is that even exciting? Like,
we'll get the multiplayer portion of Campaign Evolve.
Oh,
that would be nice.
27. That's what you get.
I don't want to pay for it.
No.
Like, after they're charging for the Campaign Evolve piece, but yeah, it really is. It's like, how exciting are these anymore? And not that we're trying to sit here and say we're bored by video games, because we're absolutely not. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Just to put in perspective, right? Of
Yeah.
like maybe why this doesn't feel like the top story compared to like maybe where it would have been before.
yeah, like if it were coincidentally working out where GTA 6 was launching on the next Xbox, even with cross-gen, but you'd be like, oh, this is the best GTA 6 experience I can have is if I buy the new Xbox. That would make it exciting. Like it's software, the right software would make it exciting. And the only things that Microsoft has in its tool belt for that would be, well, really Elder Scrolls 6, but there's not a snowball's chance in hell that game is out. At least it's not going to be out fall 27.
Hell no.
No.
And it might not even be out fall 28. So yeah, I don't even know. Michael, we talked about this, I feel like not too long ago. Oh, I guess it was when we were ranking, the three of us were doing our fun little holiday show about ranking all the day one launch lineups. And this, like, the Series X was like, we pretty quickly all agreed that was the bottom of the list. Like, that was, there wasn't anything like super sexy and new and exciting for the launch of the current machine. And I hope Microsoft's got something up its sleeve, even if whatever big game or games that would be will still also be totally playable on a Series X. I don't know what you do to make it, especially if it's going to be expensive. Like, how do you make it exciting if it's super expensive and there aren't any exclusive games for it? I don't know what you do.
I guess I guess this year will sort of show. This is an opportunity to show, I guess, the upper limits of the Series X. Like I just said that, like I haven't seen it quite yet, but maybe this is the year where you start to see games really, really stretch the limits of it. Like I think Fable and GTA 6 might be games where you play them and be like, oh, well, this is running okay, but I wonder how much better this would be on more powerful hardware.
Right.
Is that compelling enough for a full new console? I don't think so, but it might be the case in which, like, ooh, maybe this hardware is aging more rapidly than we initially thought. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it might be the case. But those would be the cases in which that would show whether or not we actually could benefit from a new console. But also to your point, like, the expectations have changed so much when it comes to consoles, where like we don't expect there to be console exclusives upon launch because the business has changed. Like, people are trying to sell games more than make an exciting launch lineup. Like, that's the priority. And as players too, who are very, I feel like more so now than before, gamers are much more deliberate about how they spend their money because things have gotten so expensive. And economic wise, like, we're not doing all that much better years down the line as a society in terms of financial situations. So not only are these things getting more expensive, but we have less spending money. And so we have to really think about where we put our money when it comes to games. Like, I can't swing $800 for a new console. I have to really think about if I spend $70 on a game or wait for a sale. So it's not like, the excitement isn't quite as there anymore because the gap has been bridged for when it comes to this technology. And then two, it's like, if it's not exciting, then I'm just not going to spend my money on it. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
I mean, you look at the what the hell is it called? What's the name of the handheld again? ROG Ally X or ROG X? What do I have?
ROG.
I can never get it right. Anyway,
ROG Xbox Ally X. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, like that seems like, and not that was a console launch, but like, it was an expensive thing, and it's neat for what it does, but doesn't seem like anybody's even really talking about it anymore. Yeah. Right? Like, it seems like the moment's kind of passed. I do have one idea for how to make the next gen Xbox launch exciting and make people want to get the console. And it's a sort of evil idea but I think What, Miranda?
I said, oh?
Oh, yeah. Well, hear me out. It's somewhat evil, and it's like we probably shouldn't even live in a world where this even sounds good. But just hear me out. Part of we're not going to get exclusive games. They're all going to be cross-gen. But what if there was a situation where if you buy the next gen Xbox in the launch window, you unlock the ability to get Game Pass Ultimate for $20 a month for as long as you're subscribing. Like, that's the perk. Like, hey, get the new machine and stay in our ecosystem, and we'll give you a great deal. Like, and then if people are like, well, I can't cancel it because I have this awesome rate, in the long term, Microsoft wins there. The gamer wins because they're not paying $30 friggin' plus when whatever they're going to raise it to this year. Hey, it's 2026. They're probably going to raise the price again. So that's my disgusting capitalist society. Like, I wish this wasn't real, but here we are. Like, that's what I would propose is offer that as like a perk. If you buy the new machine in the launch window, we'll let you lock in your Game Pass Ultimate for a super cheap rate for as long as you keep your subscription.
Yeah, I feel like that might be too much savings in the long run for them to want to do something like that.
They're $1 trillion company. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like that. If you're looking from the capitalist greed perspective, they're probably not going to want to do that indefinitely, right?
But that's what I'm saying. In the long run, though, it's going to work out. Like, they're going to keep that sub longer than they would if it were $30, and that, they might cancel that after a year when it goes up to 35.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. They pack in Game Pass codes with the console and certain games also. Maybe if they were like, hey, each Xbox, new Xbox gets, hey, you got a year code of Game Pass.
I like that.
Packed in, like, keep it simple and just be like, hey, a year of Game Pass with your console, straight up. Like, I don't know what the margins look like on that, but that would be something. It's not quite an exciting killer app, but it sweetens the deal. I don't know if they.
I mean, technically, that would be a $360 deal.
Yeah.
So that, but it doesn't. There's no hardware cost for Microsoft to do that, right? So it's just, do they want to dangle that? Look, especially if we're going to be paying, like you said, Michael, if it's going to be $800, $900, $1,000 for this hybrid PC console thing. Yeah, throwing in a year of Game Pass Ultimate that seems. I genuinely think. I mean, I think it's a much more realistic idea than what I just threw out. But I think that would get people to strongly consider upgrading, and it's still a lot of money, but it's like, hey, okay, if I go, I'd love to have the best experiences on these games, and if I buy it, then I get a year of Ultimate. That's cool. So. I like it a lot, Miranda.
That still feels too generous, but I feel like if they did that within like a short launch window period of offering that, then maybe I could see them doing it. It just feels like they're pushing so hard to get those Xbox Game Pass subs. Like, that is like the draw that I don't feel like they'd want to give it away for free for that long.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. Again, I think it's kind of weird that we're trying to find ways to incentivize people to want to upgrade, not only because of, where machines are now, but also just considering like how a lot of the Xbox games are just coming out on other systems. You don't need an Xbox to play them. Yeah. And they've made that very clear that that's the case. So I think finding what the incentives are is a bit of a strange thing.
I think that's where we're coming from here on this, is because everything's multi-platform. How do you get people to choose Xbox as the ecosystem to get your stuff? And it's like, all right, well, they absolutely can throw in a generous Game Pass Ultimate deal, and maybe that gets people to choose Xbox, and
that would be nice.
Yeah. I think the last point I would say is, like, this kind of goes back to discussions we've had in previous episodes about what the Xbox platform looks like from a user perspective, and as I've been on record saying that the next Xbox is going to be way more like a Windows machine, and that's why Microsoft has been going so hard on making Windows a much more friendly gaming platform, whether it's on the Xbox Ally X or as a PC user, things that will make a little bit more sense for how I navigate the Xbox app and install games on a Windows PC. They would have to demonstrate that, how that would look like on a console and how that works from a console experience where you're only using a gamepad, which, the Ally X is a version of that idea. So that is not as sexy of a thing to showcase to sell a console, but that would probably have to be the thing that they would hang their hat on to distinguish themselves from a PlayStation. And having all those, like, all our games are on PlayStation. If you want to buy them there and play them there, that's what's up. But if you want a flexible machine that's also doing PC, that you can have Steam on and Epic and GOG and all these other platforms along with the Xbox, you could have all that on a console and more if you go with the Xbox. I think that would be the thing that would at least make me pay a lot more attention to a new Xbox.
Yeah. Now the last piece on this is, if Miranda and I do end up correct, and it is a fall 27 situation, and Sony is fall 28 or even later, as sort of recent rumors have hinted maybe would be the case. But if they get a year or more of a head start on Sony, the question I would have for either of you is, does that even really benefit Microsoft in a way, or does it even matter anymore, I guess, with the way, with how far Microsoft's market share has fallen and how PC like these both of these consoles are anyway. Miranda, what do you think?
No, I think that the thing is, it's all cross-play, it's all cross-platform. Sony very rarely puts their games on PC, more so now, but it takes a long time. So if you're saying, all right, well, I only have so much money to spend on consoles, I'll just buy Sony because that one at least has the exclusives and I can start playing my Xbox games there anyway. So if you already have a PC, say that would be like an option. So like even right now, like if I had considered, like, if I were just a regular consumer and I'm planning out like how I want to invest in my video game hobby, what do I actually need? Like a Steam machine, like that I think is more close to the competitor that Xbox is looking at now, especially as that's becoming basically just a little PC you can take wherever, runs on Linux, kind of mod it whatever you want, add whatever you want to it, but ultimately playing your Steam games and others. I think that's kind of maybe what they're looking at, and I think, Michael, your notes on that too, of it being more of a Windows machine than anything, where you can access not only your Xbox games but others. That does make it more compelling as a mini PC, and ultimately, we all know consoles are basically that, but modified to be more user-friendly. Frankly, as a PC person, I get very frustrated with them, so I could see that be compelling to some people if they have never had a gaming PC and they want like an entry point that's not like the NZXT, like max, purchasing power kind of thing. But at the same time, if that's like the main competitive space, I think then you start getting into the arguments, of course, of, well, should you just build your own PC anyway? Like that's just a lot more accessible these days. I feel like there's a lot more guides out there. There's a lot more help. I think for people who are looking to get into that, where it could just be cheaper anyway. So anyway, there's just like a lot of things here where it's like, man, if it were me, I don't know if I'd even bother with this and just say for whatever the next PlayStation is.
What do you think, Michael? Would a year or more head start make a difference for Microsoft?
I don't think so, no. I know it worked out really well with the 360, but that's the generational gap going from, it's way different times, right?
Going from standard def to high def.
Yeah, it's the jump was huge, and that was like such an exciting part about getting on a 360 before and not waiting a year for a PS3. But yeah, with everything, so everything's kind of homogenized from a technical standpoint that, again, like you can launch a year ahead of time and people are like, okay, like especially if you have like a PS5 Pro, it's like, that's still a very powerful console, and like just starting to see developers wield the power of the PS5 Pro. So maybe like it's I mean, I don't think it would hurt for them to get a year ahead. I just don't think it would make a big splash or shift the market in a way that we may have seen in years prior. So, but maybe launching, if they're going to go with a more Ally X style PC based system for the next one, maybe that gives them time to really work out the kinks. So in a year's time, then it's a really like perfected platform that can compete alongside. But early adopters then get the short end of the stick and all that. So, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But yeah, I don't know if I would love that for them to launch in 27, give us something to cover for the year from a hardware perspective. That would be fun. But I don't know if it's going to shift things.
Yeah, I think I'm with you both on this. I kind of just don't think the Sony piece doesn't even matter anymore because they lost that battle a long time ago, meaning Microsoft. But what I do think launching well before Sony launches the PS6 would be to give Microsoft a chance to basically reset the brand. Like if I were them, I would probably look at changing the logo. I would change up the marketing. I think I would look at it as a way to start fresh, especially since if it is going to be this open platform, PC kind of situation, like lean into that on the messaging and lean into what, we've talked about this, Miranda, especially long before Michael came around, but I'm sure Michael was talking about it on previous shows. But Miranda, you and I we've spent so long talking about how we would just get frustrated that Microsoft would fail time and time again to lean into messaging their strengths and what's good about their platform for gamers and what gamers would get positively out of it. And instead, they're just always defensive and on their heels and reactive instead of proactive. So I would love to see them take the opportunity with this next Xbox to, there probably won't be, if it's fall of 27, there probably won't be a PlayStation 6 to quote unquote compete against. So there'd just be a chance in isolation to just not have to worry about reacting to Sony and instead just be proactive about what makes this new Xbox awesome for gamers and what benefits it brings. I would even consider bringing back, like, I know maybe the retro thing's played out. Maybe it's not the best way to go for a brand that's trying to kind of evolve into a multi-platform deal. But like, maybe you look at, I mean, I think at the very least, I would change the logo. I would just wipe out, not that what they have now is bad, but what they have now is associated with bad. And I think I would consider going back to the original Xbox logo. Do it. That has a positive association. Like, yes, that Xbox with the ground opening, like erupting into a little X, like that's the Xbox I love. So I would consider going back into that, leaning back in there, and these are all. So if Phil Spencer, if you're listening this weekend at the dog park, these are all free ideas. You're welcome. So just, take any and all of them, because we just want to see Xbox be the best version of itself. That's all. Ryan, that's all we really want.
You make a really great point there, and I think there are some things, consumer-friendly things that they could do that would be advantageous on a multi-platform playground, you could say. So, like, for instance, game preservation. Like, one thing that we really loved was, like, backwards compatibility and making sure you can go back and play your old games. All the games, the classic Xbox games, they've added to Game Pass and have made sure are accessible. Not all of them, though. So, like, there's a lot there they could look into bringing to other systems so that people could play them. Whether that's working on making sure that they're more playable these days or whatever it could be. Like, there's a lot, I think, in their back catalog they could mess around with. That doesn't necessarily make a next machine more exciting, but at least makes their ecosystem, and as you say, like a brand relaunch, more exciting as they figure out what sort of demographics they want to target next for their next machine. My biggest thing is I feel like Xbox's peripherals have always been fantastic.
Yes.
Like that's the sticking point for me. It's just like, I want that controller everywhere. I want to use it and I do, frankly, as many places I could. I really tried hard to get to work on my PlayStation. It was too annoying. But like, it's things like that, right? That I think it makes me still excited about Xbox and curious to see how they'll take that forward with them.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Unlocked, IGN's weekly Xbox show. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to watch the full episode at youtube.com/IGN Games. New episodes of Unlocked drop every Thursday on IGN Games, IGN.com, and your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.